We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just
Guess who's back? Back again. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rewind returns from a very long, much needed hiatus. A little bit late on this one, but we're happy to be back. With me as always, is my cohort in crime, my podcast life partner, the one, the only Uncle Bobby B.
Uncle sick bastard today, but
I didn't want to
yes,
say it, but yes.
no, you can hear it. Like I'm sick as shit. But yeah,
like,
you know,
yeah, I don't know. You sound like I don't even know what I want to say. You sound like a mixture between. There's that one actor that's got like a really gruff voice. You sound like if him and another actor had a one night stand, you would be that person.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. And that dude's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got a great voice. He'll get hired just for his voice.
Yeah, I would pay that guy to do voice. Like that would be the guy. You know, most people say, "Oh, I want Morgan Freeman to narrate my life."
Yeah,
that would be the guy that would narrate my life, not Morgan Freeman. That guy.
Well, I don't know what I got, but somebody came to our gigs last weekend. We had a couple of big gigs in Hamilton and Toronto, and somebody came sick, and all the bands and fans and stuff got sick. So we don't know who it was, but shaking my fist at them.
You outbreak monkey.
Yeah. So, you know, after a little hiatus from the Rewind, we've been doing this about 4 years. So, you know, I think we were both, due to personal and professional circumstances, a little burnt out. We needed a break from stuff. But yeah, we're back, and we both watched the show, and I thought it was a really good show.
I enjoyed it. I absolutely did enjoy it. So guys, this will be a recap of Summer of the Beast. We will not be recapping Never Say Never. That was one of the ones we took in between our hiatus. But hey, you know what? I did watch Never Say Never as well. It was good. But I did enjoy this one a little bit more, and I'm excited because now this is the road to Fightland. And Fightland is their kind of last big event of the year. And then we kind of get a chill out till usually they take their, you know, Christmas hiatus. But I don't know. These days with MLW, I have no idea what's in the plans, what's in the cards, what's working. But I am excited that Fightland is literally around the corner. We will also do a recap of Fightland. We won't be doing it right away, probably a week later on that one as well, when we can find the time. But regardless, the Rewind is here, and we're excited to be back. I'm excited to talk MLW, which we haven't in so long. It feels weird because, like you said, Bobby, we've been doing this for 4 years. But I did feel like something was missing for a little bit. I felt like even though we were on a much needed break and a much needed recharge and a much needed, you know, mental and physical kind of rewind, if you will, to, you know, pun on words. I don't know. I missed it a little bit. I did. I missed it. I did.
Yeah, of course. I missed talking MLW with you, and you miss one or two shows with MLW, and you miss a lot. So, you know, it's good to be back to it. And this was, I mean, I watched it today, and I couldn't believe no, I shouldn't say I couldn't believe. I was thoroughly impressed. Just the quality, like, of every match. Like, every match was really good. There was no matches where I was just like, like, all of them had me like glued. So yeah, this was a great show to come back to. You'll probably disagree, but hey.
But that's the whole great thing about podcasts like this, is because we can disagree and yet still have, everyone's got opinions. Everyone has opinions. I will disagree that I thought every match was a banger. There were some that were a head scratcher for me, but we'll get into those as we always do. Shall we begin?
Yes, come on.
All right, so we begin with a doomsday clock. Not really sure what's happening. Joe Dombrowski feels like it could be Contra related, but he's unsure because Contra's never really called their shot, his words. So we're going to keep abreast. But right now, as the event starts, the clock is set at 1 hour, 38 minutes and change. So somewhere in the middle of this card, this doomsday clock is going to end, and we're going to get some kind of a reveal. What the reveal is, well, you'll find out later on in the recap. But the first match on the card is an Opera Cup quarterfinals. We have Jesus Rodriguez, as he always does. He intros bad dude Tito, who, again, just to remind everyone, defeated Danny Jones to get to this point, and he's taken on Alex Kane, the leader of the Bumaye Fight Club, who defeated Mr. Thomas, his, you know, ringside man, if you will, to get to this point as well. You know, this match was the one match for me that it was a banger of a match, but the finish was a little bit of a head scratcher. Now we get to the point where Kane does have a rear naked choke on Tito. He's got it stitched in. He's got the sleeper. Everything's happening. It's going. Tito, last minute ditch effort, kicks out of the corner, kind of rolling over. But as he rolled over, he passed out. Kane choked him out, but the weight of Tito pinned Kane's shoulders, and the ref counted the 1, 2, 3, not really looking at the submission hold. Now, I'm not a referee in any standpoint. You, however, are.
I
You have
am.
training. Yes, you have training. So I want to. This is why I brought this up. This is interesting. Congratulations, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby has been greenlit. He is taking bookings. We're very excited to have another ref here in the Ontario scene. I can't wait to see what he does in the squared circle and the stories that he's able to help progress and tell. Now, when somebody's in a submission hold, again, and this is what I'm just asking from perspective. If someone's in a submission hold and the kick out happens like we saw at the end of this match, would the ref not be focused on the submission hold? I mean, yes, I understand the shoulders. He has to watch everything. But wouldn't he have noticed that Tito was passed out well before the pin of the shoulders? I'm just curious. I'm asking.
No, because Tito launched himself off,
Mhm.
and when he landed,
Mhm.
he was counting the pinfall. He didn't stop to see when he landed, like, oh, is he still conscious before I count this pinfall? No, it's there's a pinfall. I'm counting it. If Tito was knocked out, you deal with that afterwards. I liked the finish in this for the simple reason that it made sense to me. Of Alex Kane is a former MLW world champion, heavyweight champion.
Mhm.
He is still a force to be reckoned with. Just because he doesn't have gold around his waist doesn't mean he's not, a top star in the league. Uh, by the way this match finished, it didn't make Alex look bad because he choked him out before the count happened. You might be able to say Alex got dealt a raw deal with the way the finish happened in terms of the count got made before catching he was out, but in a finish like that, Alex still looks good. Tito gets the win,
Mhm.
and and also it's generally, it doesn't, not to say it doesn't happen, but you don't want to have a champion lose to a non-champion in a non-title match, because it's like, oh, all of a sudden your champion just lost to a guy. Like, could this guy then beat him for the championship? Like, you want to make your champion look strong,
Mhm.
but you also don't want to make Alex look weak, because he's not that, nobody's weak per se, but Alex is an upper guy on the roster. You don't want to put him in that position where he's just a clean 1, 2, 3, and then his stock kind of goes down. So I thought the finish made sense for that reason. But hey, you have a different perspective, right? Because we look at it differently. So I get it. I get where you're seeing it from too.
Mhm. And I get your perspective, so thank you for shedding some light on that. Well, how about this? A rather fun yet weirdly unorthodox promo. Matt Riddle coming off the elevator. He's excited to be there in New York, and he runs into Kojima. And Kojima says, "When we gonna fight?" Riddle says, "Don't worry, we got a match in the near future. We got to focus on Contra." And
Each as a Contra.
Kojima exactly says the best thing that has ever come out of Kojima's mouth, in my honest opinion, bitch ass Contra. And Kojima saying bitch ass Contra, then the two of them beginning to chant bitch ass Contra was electric. It was incredible. Probably one of my favorite moments very early on in this event. Next match on the card, we have Featherweight Championship title match. We have HANAKO versus Janai Kai. And man, let me tell you, HANAKO is a beast, standing just roughly over 6 feet tall. She made Janai Kai look small. But you know what, Kai? Not phased, man. Not phased at all. She went right for the gut kick early on, brought HANAKO down to size. And I felt that as much as HANAKO tried to show a test of strength early and tried to get into her head early, just with her overwhelming size and stature, Kai was unfazed, like I said. And she wins via submission, and then continues to attack HANAKO after the match is done, kind of showing her dominance. And she is now the longest reigning defending featherweight champion. We've only had 3, but she is the longest reigning out of all 3. The first being Taya Valkyrie, who was the inaugural, then Del Miexo, and now here we are with Janai Kai. This is just an interesting take, and this is one title that I don't see MLW itching to switch hands early on. We had some title changes tonight, we did, but this is one title that every time Janai has defended it, it's been better, it's been more dominant, and I honestly don't see anyone that's going to take that featherweight strap off of Janai Kai. No matter who she's aligned with, whether it be Selena De La Renta or Contra, or she goes solo, lone wolf, Janai Kai is fucking unstoppable. That's it. That's it.
You know what really, it just, from personally, because what really stood out to me was at training a couple weeks ago, we were working on kicks, and I was watching my coach Ben demonstrate the mechanics of how to do a kick, and he was doing like a question mark kick. So not, or like a buzzsaw kick, depending on how you want to call it, but it's that kind of motion of getting your leg up and then popping your hips and coming down, so you're kicking on like a downward. She does that, and I watched her do
Oh,
it, and I was going, her hips are so quick, like when she comes through with those kicks, and they look so good. And I can't say from just looking at it whether she's hitting stiff or not, but it looks didn't look like she was killing Hanako, and generally Japanese like to work a little harder than other people. So sure, she had no issue with it, but man, she looks just like you said, George. She looks unstoppable. It's going to take something special to dethrone Janai Kai. She's just such a dominant. She's like an evil female version of Speedball Bailey. Uh, like honestly, she's like an evil female Mike Bailey. She just comes in, instead of like smiling and bowing and being nice, she just comes in and kicks the shit out of you and then kicks you while you're down and leaves. Like that's the best comparison I can make. And they have wrestled each other too, and it was great. But yeah, dominant. Love again bringing in the talent from out of country. Hanako from Stardom, fantastic. I love seeing the Japanese wrestlers coming over. These open partnerships that MLW has are really paying off.
100%. And I really thought when Hanako came out, I'm like, damn, they brought in like this Amazon. Like, okay, this might be the one. I thought really we might see a title change, but nah, man. Janai just went in there unfaced and laid down her dominance. And it wasn't a squash match, but it was a dominant win. And that's what's the most important thing. You have to remember that dominant win, not a squash match, but dominance. And that's what Janai Kai is all about. She is fucking dominant in that featherweight division. Next match on the card, Tom Lawlor versus TJP. This is again, excuse me. This is again a Upper Cup quarterfinal matchup, and this one was wild. It was wild. It was entertaining. It was great to see TJP return back to MLW. He's been in Japan for a while. He's been working with New Japan Pro for a while, but it was great to see him back in a small, kind of more intimate setting. And dude's a beast. He just keeps getting better. And that flying knee to Tom Lawlor was disgusting. It was disgustingly beautiful. I love to see Tom Lawlor get laid out, but to get laid out in that way, I mean, he like, you know, when they say in basketball, when somebody dunks on somebody, they posterize them. That would be a posterizing TJP did to Tom Lawlor. I would print that picture out, that still, and I would get TJP to autograph. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
It's wild that we haven't seen TJP in a couple years, but like, I mean, in MLW in a couple years, dude hasn't lost a single step. He's just so good, man. And when you think like, I feel like this guy's been around forever, because he kind of has. Like he's been wrestling since he was like 16, so he kind of has been around forever. He's reinvented himself. He's taken over as the leader of the United Empire, which since Will Ospreay left, TJP's got the stewardship now. And shout out to another member of United Empire, Francesco Akira. He's another one you should keep an eye on. He's Italian, so I'm happy we got one to cheer for. But I digress. This match, like you said, it was wild, and two guys who never failed to entertain, whether it's just solely through their wrestling or otherwise. These guys are both a good sense of humor and delivery and execution with how they do things. Uh, what else can I say about it? It was two veterans who knew exactly how to put a good match together.
Absolutely, 100%. And yeah, you're right. And you know what? The funny thing is, you kind of segue perfectly for myself. If you would like to hear a intimate conversation with TJP, or maybe one with Francesco Akira, go through the Straight Talk Wrestling archives, because I have sat down with both of these gentlemen, and they are fantastic. I pretty much sat down from everyone from the United, short of Will Ospreay. But
Aussie Open? Did you get Aussie Open?
no, I didn't. I hit him up, but I didn't. Okay, so 2 out of 4 ain't bad. 2 out of 4 ain't bad. 50%.
I thought it was. Is it 2 out of 4?
I'm going to say it's 2 out of 4. Let me have this.
I thought it was 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad for sure, but I'm going to say 2 out of 4 in terms of the faction. You know what I meant? Just let me have it. Let me have 50%.
All right, have it.
I thought you were going to drop me down to like 33%. I'm like, don't 33% me on this one. Give me the 50, man. Come on. All right. This one was probably my second favorite match on the card Matt Riddle versus Matt Justice in a war. Riddle wins via the the bro stone onto a chair. And then at the end, Riddle catches some beers. One unfortunately explodes as he's opening it, but that's okay. Another one gets rolled into the ring. They have a beer, and he cheers and says that Justice, literally, he respects the hell out of Justice, and he earned his respect in that match. And they have a nice little chug of a beer, and they both go their separate ways. But this match, like I said, it wasn't my favorite match on the card, but it was definitely my second favorite match on the card. I thought these two did something special. And Joe Dabrowski said it the best. If anyone thought Matt Justice couldn't hang, all the doubters were silenced in this match. He may have not got the win, but he definitely proved something to everyone when he went pound for pound with one of the best strikers on the indie scene in Matt Riddle.
Well, I don't know who the hell would suggest that Matt Justice can't hang, because I've seen that dude hang and fall and crash and
I didn't say he
flip
couldn't
and
hang.
jump.
I
No, I'm not saying you. Like,
yeah.
like Matt Justice has been around for a little while now, and that dude is crazy. Like, I'm not going to name names, but I had another wrestler tell me once, I don't know how he's still alive with some of the stuff he does. So I really liked this one, man. This had a little bit of everything in it.
Mhm.
Two guys who know how to give and take punishment. It was just a fun, entertaining match, man. And the closing, most of the time we get the dichotomy of face and heel, but it was nice to just two guys who were like, bro, that was a great fight. Let's drink a beer. And it was nice, for a guy like Matt to get the props from a guy like Matt.
I see what you did. I'm wondering how you're going to pull that off. Most people would have
Yeah,
been like, for Justice to get the props from a guy like Riddle is special, but you're
no,
like, for Matt to get the props from Matt.
bro.
Well done, well done.
For
Bravo.
Matt to get those props from a guy like Matt, yeah, no, that was great. And you'll see you'll see wrestlers put other wrestlers over a lot. Like, they'll grab the mic after and be like, "You were awesome," but you can tell sometimes when they're just going through the motions and when they really, really mean it. And I think he really meant, like we saw Mustafa Ali put over our friend Gabriel Forza. You could tell he meant that from the heart when he did that. So I think it was the same thing here. Like, Riddle really meant what he was saying. Like, bro, I'll fight with you anytime, and you're one of the best I've been around with. So kudos to both those guys for putting on a banger of a match that was highly entertaining.
Yeah, and absolutely a couple times during that match, they got a "This is awesome" chant, which was rightfully deserved by that hot New York crowd. Selena De La Renta and Baby Daddy at the Cesar Durant compound. They're living life, they're enjoying things, and they're just chilling. She's talking about a merger between promotions because of the grand baby to be, and saying, listen, it doesn't matter. It's a guaranteed Opera Cup win, either Mistico or Tito. Yeah, she's totally calling her shot, saying that Mistico later on takes on Atlantis Jr., saying that Mistico is going to be in the finals against Bad Dude Tito, who already punched his ticket. So Bad Dude Tito will face the winner of Mistico and Atlantis Jr. later on tonight. We're going to find that out. And TJP will take on the winner of Kenta and AKIRA. And that is a match that I will, spoiler alert, that one was my favorite match on the card, but we will get to that a little bit later. Brett Ryan Gosselin with Bobby Fish. Such a weird duo to roll out two together. But I'm interested. I'm interested in see where this is going. And we do see it. And they also get to go, BRG gets to go one-on-one with a returning after a 20-year hiatus. Paul London returns to an MLW ring for a great match. London looked great. He wrestled great. The story was great. Gosling had control here and there throughout the match, but I felt that London really, really, really had control, and he does. He secures a win via that sweet double stomp, but can't enjoy the victory for too long because after the match, he is literally assaulted by Bobby Fish and BRG, and then music hits, and it's the Andersons. That's right, the Andersons. CW and Brock Anderson are in MLW. I'm so excited. They come in the ring. It looks like they're going to align themselves with Paul London. They're going to be the heroes. Maybe we're going to get a reuniting of a modern day Four Horsemen. No, not a fucking chance. Paul London gets dropped quick, and it's a 4-on-1 assault. And I will say this, though. CW Anderson, bravo, man. That epic, picture perfect Anderson spinebuster. Fuck, did he look like Arn doing it back in the late 80s, man. That spinebuster was beautiful. It was picture perfect. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And then the medics. Referees are trying to come in. They're trying to check on Paul London. And what happens? What happens? Brock puts down a medic. He literally puts down a medic, sending a message also clearing the ring of these 15 staff members. Now Brock and CW are still in the ring. They're cutting a promo. They're saying they're ready. They're here for fight. That's all they're doing. And now they fight the sweet tandem of Love Doug and one half of the main event tag team, Jay Lyon. Ultimately, this was a squash match, very easy squash match. CW hits that sweet thrust kick, looks so good with Brock. They were just in complete chemistry, and it's a win for the Andersons. And all four men stand tall: BRG, Bobby Fish, CW, and Brock. And this is one faction I'm intrigued, Merkel. And you know what? If this is the modern day Four Horsemen, I dig it. Think about it, right? Roll with me on this one. You've got Brock, who is his dad, the enforcer. You've got BRG, who's the Ric Flair type character. You've got Bobby Fish, who's kind of, in some ways, the Tully. And then you got CW rounding it out, man. I think that this is, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to go the modern day Four Horsemen route, but I could see it. I can see it. What did you think about all this, Rob?
It was weird, kind of like,
but enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I was intrigued when the Andersons came out. I was like, okay, what's going on here? And like, shout out to CW Anderson. He looks fucking good.
Phenomenal.
Like, he looked great, man. I don't know if he's been still like working continuously, but he looked fantastic. Brock looked definitely better from when we saw him at another place a little while back.
Mm-hmm.
So he looks like he's been putting some work in as well. I loved the, standing with his hands on his hips at the top of the ramp.
That's
like
the simple little homages to his pops, man. It was awesome. It was fucking awesome.
Right, but that's I as soon as I saw that, my mind went back to watching like old Arn, right? Like that was the thing, hands on the hip. So yeah, like you said, it's the littlest thing sometimes, but it can make a difference. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. Like first, it was weird with Bobby Fish and BRG because I'm like, this is an odd pairing because Bobby Fish is more of like a no nonsense fighter, and BRG's like a pretty boy kind of thing. So I was like, okay, this is a weird, but there's been stranger pairings, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just wasn't sure where the Andersons came into play with all of that. And then we had the odd pairing of Love Doug and Jay Lyon, which I was just like, this is so I was happy to see both guys back because I really like the main event, and I think Love Doug is fantastic. I love Love Doug, but it was just a weird.
Very
like
weird
I hate seeing guys come back just to get kind of put other people over like that. But whatever, it is what it is. It was a weird segment, but not the worst thing. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I guess not every match was necessarily a banger, but I think this one was more to kind of move the story of these four guys are coming together, not to give you a friggin' 5-star match. So yeah, I get why it was the way it was, but yeah, interesting to see where this goes with this faction. If they're gonna give it a name or they're just hanging out together, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
We absolutely 150% will. Now for what I consider to be match of the card. Kenta versus AKIRA. Just to remind everyone, Kenta defeated Bobby Fish to get to this point. AKIRA defeated Akira Kwon to get to this point. And this was, again, my favorite match of the card. This is a quarterfinal matchup again for the Opera Cup. And the winner of this match will go on to take out TJP. And sure enough, Kenta hits that GTS after a much back and forth with AKIRA. AKIRA standing tall. AKIRA looked great, even taking the loss. Like Matt Justice, AKIRA won the night, in my honest opinion. Showed that he could go, which we already knew, but really showed he can go. Because a lot of people look at AKIRA for his deathmatch styling, for his, hardcore style. But I appreciate him for his wrestling ability so much more. And man, him and Kenta, they shined for each other in this match, and there's nothing bad I could say about it. I literally wrote down in my notes, what a fucking match, and that's exactly what it was. This was match of the night for me. But Kenta punches his ticket, and now we get Kenta versus TJP, which in this wrestling fan's mind is a must-see, take my money, fucking incredible matchup. I can't wait. I'm so excited for that semifinal matchup that's going to happen. Rob, what do you got on this one?
Oh, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't say more because yeah, it was a fantastic match. The go to sleep spots, I thought it was great. AKIRA using the go to sleep. And I think that the commentary, Joe Dombrowski especially, kind of nailed it. AKIRA is such a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's one of those guys. He's a little bit of jack of all trades, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, if you want to go through glass, he'll go through glass with you. If you want to twist up, he'll twist up with you. If you want to go hard, like he can do a little bit of everything, which makes him such a difficult opponent because you can't narrow down what his plan of attack is going to be. So I thought it was really cool the way they handled this match, the way they beat the shit out of each other. I quite enjoyed it, and like you said, Akira losing the match, but not looking bad. I mean, he definitely raised his stock with this match. He showed you go toe to toe with one of the best. So good on him.
Absolutely, 150%. Akira literally punching his ticket to the, we talk about it all the time. Us talk about it, and even some of the conversations I have with some great wrestlers, we talk about level up moments. And this for me was a moment where you definitely saw right before our eyes, we saw Akira leveling up. And I am so excited for the future of this guy that holds, and it's still so young. So young, so much time left in this game, so many more matches to be had. Akira, definitely, I mean, I was already a fan.
So many more scars to obtain.
Absolutely. So many more scars to obtain. His body is literally a blueprint of the indie wrestler, 150%. Next match of the card is a four-way scramble. We've got a returning Jimmy Lloyd versus LSG, who Joe Dombrowski was very high on. I don't know much about, but I really did enjoy the spots that he had in this match. And little Guido coming out, entertaining the fans. Forget about it. You talked about an Italian that you have to cheer for. I mean, don't forget, you had little Guido and Vito back in the day, man. FBI, full-blooded Italians. It was a hot faction for a minute, dude. It was.
Yes, but here's the thing, and this is just a personal thing. This isn't like
It was a
I believe
stereotype. You were very
everybody. Yeah,
perceptive.
I just hate the stereotype of I'm Italian, so my gimmick is gonna be, hey, yo, I'm Italian. Like it just for me. I'm not saying it's wrong or people can't do it or you can't enjoy that.
Mhm.
It just bothers the shit out of me, and it's not for like it's a negative stereotype or anything. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't know. So it's not like I don't like Guido or anything like that,
Mhm.
but I prefer Francesco Akira because his gimmick is just I'm a great wrestler, not I'm Italian. That's the biggest thing about me that I got going. So I just for me it's just like him being Italian is just a part something that's not even a factor when it comes to his wrestling. It's just I like that he's Italian and Italy's not a big country for wrestling. We don't have there's like I think two promotions, maybe two schools, maybe one in the north, one in the south. So uh it's just cool. But yeah, the I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. What were we talking about? I'm
We're
sorry.
talking about the four-way scramble, introducing the last competitor, which is Nolo Kitano. And
Oh yeah, Nolo Kitano, who was nice to see back.
yeah, it was nice to see the Ghetto Samurai back for sure. Mid-match though, that Doomsday Clock hits. We get the 0. And what is it? What's the big reveal? Well, it's the disruptor, Donovan Dijak. That's right, with MSL. Now, this is an odd pairing, but MSL always has his ear to the grindstone, always has a master plan. And Donovan comes in and he decimates all 4 competitors. We don't get a winner. This match is over. And he makes a huge statement in MLW, basically stating that destruction is here. That is what you could expect from Donovan every single time he's in an MLW ring, and he's not afraid of anyone, and he respects no one, and he will be a future MLW World Champion. Leaving a trail of bodies behind him as him and MSL scurry off to the back. This was an entertaining spot, and I will, spoiler alert, one person in this match, I've already interviewed one, but one person in this match I just sat down with literally yesterday, and we talked about his return to MLW. Well, Rob, what did you think about this whole spot, this whole situation? Again, like you said, at the beginning of the thing, you talked about how every match was a banger. There was 2 matches in this card that just moved storylines ahead, which is what we know that's always the master plan. But what did you think about the big reveal, the Doomsday Clock, and Dijak showing up in MLW?
Yeah, I mean I kind of had a feeling it was him because I knew he was a free agent because he had done a whole thing when he got his free agency. And just with the whole Doomsday Clock, I had a feeling. I wasn't 100% sure, but I had a feeling. It was cool when he showed up though. I was a little surprised MSL was out there because the vibe between the two of them is not like MSL and Tom Lawlor. That vibe, same vibe check. Dijak can talk, first of all, so he doesn't really need a mouthpiece. And I thought he was like clever enough with his words and stuff like that. Clearly, he's got a modicum of intelligence. So I don't know. I don't know if it's does that mean he's WTF? Because it doesn't seem like he would
I don't think
be.
WTF's even a thing anymore, to be honest with you.
Okay, so
That
then
storyline, I believe, is dead in the water.
I guess MSL is just kind of his
Back to being a
manager kind
manager.
of thing.
Yeah.
Sure, fair enough. But yeah, I'm excited because Dijak's a big man
Mhm.
and a name bring more eyes. Like I don't know what else MLW can do to bring more eyes to their product at this point. They're signing names, they're bringing in names, they've got partnerships, there's titles being defended in other countries. I mean, they're doing everything they can to bring more eyes to the product. So I don't know what else people need to start watching MLW, but I'm excited to see what happens with Dijak. I think the match I'm looking to now is Tito and Dijak.
I like that. Yeah, that's a collision course for sure. And just to go back to what you were saying before on your tangent, stereotypes. It's the same thing for me being Scottish. There's a lot of
Oh,
Scottish promotions. But I mean, you look at Drew McIntyre. I'm tired of seeing every Scotsman come out with a claymore and a kilt. Like that's not who we are. The Highlanders, the War Raiders before they went Viking, they were represented as Scottish. So I mean, it's very typical of people to automatically like, and I get it. Drew McIntyre leans into that, and he is not the typical Scottish wrestler. He's a beast in his own right. But yeah, man, I just like stereotypes of wrestling. It's a very real thing. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would disagree with what we're saying, and that's fine. But I feel you on the stereotype stuff because I'm sick and tired of seeing every Scottish wrestler come out with a claymore and a fucking kilt. I really am.
and it's been done since the dawn of wrestling. Like one of my favorite things that used to happen was the 80s, the Russians and the Americans, like that whole the Cold War and the Ivan Kolovs, Nikita Koloff, Crusher. Like I loved that. And there's probably some Russians out there that hated that stereotype or whatever, and that's fair. But like I enjoyed that personally. I just liked it. So I totally get it. Yeah, it's something natural. Oh, my cat decided to make an appearance. If you just heard that, sorry.
It's all good. All right, let's talk about tag team gold. How about this? You talked about titles being defended. How about this? We got Contra. We got Contra going at we got Kwon and Minoru Suzuki going at CozyMAX, which is Kojima and Okumura, who literally just defended those MLW tag straps in CMLL only a few weeks ago internationally. So there you go. That's what you were talking about. And this match was a typical, very quick match. We knew that CozyMAX was going to drop the titles eventually. And they did via the blind mist from Kwon and into the gut pile driver or glitch pile or gotch pile driver, I think it was. Gotch,
Gotch.
thank you. The Gotch pile driver, and we got a new tag team champions. That's right, Contra. And literally, as soon as the bell was raised, we saw Janai Kai and we saw Cruel Kruger, sorry, the leader of Contra, come out, and they literally decimated Kojima. And at the end of it all, Mads holding that world title strong and calling his shot for Fightland on September 14th. He is the next man up to go at Kojima. And what I found weird is that after they kind of dealt with Okumura, he didn't kind of try to stay and help Kojima in any way. He just kind of scurried off to the back.
Yeah, he's been getting his ass kicked a lot.
Yeah, I
Poor
think
guy.
he's like,
So
you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with all this shit. I'm literally, I'm exhausted. But regardless of the fact, Contra now holds the Featherweight Championship and now the tag team titles, and Kruger has his eyes set on that world title. Could we see Contra rocking all gold once again? It's happened before. Could we see it again?
we could. For me, this match, I love that Joe pointed out in case people didn't know. It is a thing that back in the day it was Kojima-gun was the stable in New Japan, and Suzuki assumed leadership of that, and it became Suzuki-gun before he disbanded that. So it, there's a lot of history between these two guys. So it's really cool the way MLW is making these matches happen, and given the history between them, I just really enjoy that we're getting these matches at this time. In 2024, we're getting this stuff, so it's really cool. It was a good match, but I thought it was also I
Just from
wasn't
the storyline and yeah.
yeah, I wasn't 100% sure why they had the belts as long as they did. Probably because they wanted them to defend them in Mexico. Which as soon as they did, they're like, okay, now we'll move them on.
I believe they also defended them in Japan as well. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they went over there as well. So I think they wanted to get a little bit of credibility behind the tag titles. Not to say anyone else that hasn't held them hasn't been credible, but I believe that CozyMAX made these titles a little bit more internationally known.
There you go. Fair enough. And yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So yeah, we got Contra unit on the rise again, and shout out to Akira Kwon. It's about 2-3 years since we last saw him, maybe more. I want to say 3.
Yeah, but the resurgence of him coming back, he's really held his own. And I feel like the first version of Kwon wasn't the version that he was the most happy with. And I feel like they kind of underutilized him in the original Contra. But in this version of Contra, Contra built in Kruger's image, Kwon is flourishing, and rightfully so.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I believe I forget what he works as when he's not in MLW, but I believe he's putting in some work because I definitely see a difference in terms of ability and just fluidness and everything since he was here the last time.
Absolutely.
So shout out to that guy because put in the work and you get the recognition.
Absolutely. And main event time. We have literally a CMLL main event dream match happening here. CMLL fans see it all the time, but we get to see it here now for the first time. Atlantis Jr. Here via the win over Okumura, and Mistico here via the win over Magnus in the first round. And this is the last quarterfinal match of the Opera Cup, and this match was insane. These two went all over the place and then some. I thought their energy was burnt, and then they got that second, third, fourth, fifth win. They literally just killed everything, and there's nothing bad I could say about this match, especially the finish. That sweet senton from Mistico sends Atlantis Jr. home, and now he's punched his ticket. But here's the thing. Mistico is going on to face bad dude Tito. So Selena's assured victory is no longer assured because the merger, both men are facing each other. Had it been Tito versus TJP and Kenta versus Mistico, then we would have guaranteed victory if both men moved on, faced each other. It'd be guaranteed. But now, only one man can move on to the finals. So what we do have is a guaranteed trip to the finals for the merger of Promocios Dorado and Lucha Underground. But, Azteca Lucha. But that's all we know. That's all we know. But this match was a fucking banger, a great way to end a very great card. I enjoyed it thoroughly from top to bottom. Storylines are moved ahead, and even though MLW is not running full force anymore, the fact that they're moving storylines ahead at the right moments, piquing your interest, including new talents and new storylines, they are doing everything right. They're doing all we can ask them to do. And above all else, guys, all this shit is free. No more $7.99 a month on Thriller. This is all free on YouTube. The last 2 events have been free. The next one, Fightland, will be free on YouTube. What more can you ask to literally give these guys 2.5, 3 hours of your time once a month, once every 6 weeks? What more can you fucking ask? Give MLW a shot. If you aren't, give them a shot. But Rob, what's your take on this match, and what's your take on Selena De La Renta's declaration from earlier not coming to fruition?
I mean, I don't have a ton to say. It was a good match. Like, it was two really experienced and popular luchadors went out there and had a friggin' lucha match. It was a great match. I had no issues with it, but I also wasn't like, oh, that's the best match I've ever seen. It was a good match, and I mean, Mistico is moving on, which he's one of the biggest stars, so that makes sense. But that does bring into question Selena's prophecy of we're gonna have everything. I don't know. You might not be holding the Opera Cup there. Really depends how things are gonna go, and is she gonna try and tell Tito to lay down or something like that? I don't know. Could be interesting.
It's going to be interesting, but regardless of the fact, Tito moves on to go face Mistico. Now, if I had my pick for the finals in this match, I honestly truly would say my finals prediction would probably be Kenta and Tito. That's what I'm leaning towards. Or sorry, Kenta and Mistico in the finals. That's what I'm leaning towards. What do you got, Rob?
Yeah, I'd probably have to go the same, I think.
I think Kenta and Mistico is just that would be electric. If that's the finals of the Opera Cup, that's insane. Absolutely.
Yeah. That would be an interesting match. I'd love to see it.
And if you're going to bring in Kenta short term, why not have him go on to possibly win the Opera Cup and have a killer title fight with whoever, and then lose gracefully and go back to the other company, right?
See what happens.
Absolutely. Or it wouldn't be a bad idea to have Kenta show back up at the other company with the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. That's for sure. That'd be interesting. 100%. Well, while the wheels turn and storylines burn, that's it for this one here in MLW Rewind. As always, I'm your host, your boy George Mackay. I want to thank Uncle Bobby B. Again, sick as hell, but I want to thank him. And shout out to a fun-filled couple of days for me, Lucha Libre-wise. I got to meet one of my pillars, one of my Mount Rushmores yesterday in Psycho Clown. It was absolutely incredible. And believe it or not, Rob, I don't think I was able to tell you this, but I did get to sit down with him for 10 minutes. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh, so habla inglés?
Yeah. Very, very well spoken, Pablo Inglés. And
Did you just say Pablo Inglés? Oh my.
Sorry.
No, I'm not saying it to be a jerk.
Yeah, you are.
Friggin' great. You come up with great stuff and you don't even realize it. Like, why wouldn't I think of Pablo Inglés? That is brilliant.
I didn't even know I was doing it. That's the thing.
Like, next time I have to, like, I give fake names all the time. Can I get your name? Like, if I'm getting a coffee or something, can I get your name? I'll be like, yeah, my name is like Frank or whatever.
What was I trying to say?
Habla.
That's it.
Habla. Habla.
Yes, he spoke English very well, and that was a great 10-minute conversation. I wish it could have been more. And he even said to me, he goes, I can talk with you as long as you want. I would love to, but it's 11:30. I got to work at 5 a.m. the next day. I am busted. I'm exhausted. I still got an hour drive home. So you know what? I'm sorry. 10 minutes is perfect enough for me. It's absolutely.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Sometimes less is more, but you got to take those opportunities. So yeah, I'm just excited about everything that MLW is doing. I can't wait for Fightland. Guys, we will be covering Fightland. It may not be the same weekend. It may not be the same day, but we will definitely be covering Fightland as soon as we possibly can. Maybe on the 15th. Maybe Rob and I watch it together on the 15th, and we fire something off. We'll see how things go. I don't want to make any commitments. But as always, I'm your host, your boy, George Mackay. This is
Uncle Sicky B.
We'll see you guys very soon.
Adios.
We just people from the north side. Once the Timmy's hit the shore fine. Winter ready on the four ties. Heavy traffic during 4-5. Gotta hustle on your own time. Color people every port side. We just people from